Hey, I'm Kaylee Gerlach, and I'm from Brigham City, Utah. Population, almost 20,000. Growing up, from elementary to high school, I attended public school. I went to Box Elder High School, which is in somewhat of a rural area, although I'd almost consider it suburban because the area is growing a lot. My high school offered various AP courses, ranging from AP Studio Art to AP Calculus. We also had concurrent enrollment courses offered through Utah State University. If a traditional university wasn't the route that you wanted to take, you could even attend Ridgeland Applied Technology College for half of the school day to receive licensure as a cosmetologist, dental hygienist, and several other career paths. My high school had about 1,500 students, grades 10 to 12. The total minority enrollment was approximately 15%. That being said, about 10% of my school's total population was Hispanic. The other 85% of students, including myself, were white. 27% of the students at my high school were considered economically disadvantaged and qualified for either reduced price or free school lunch. I grew up pretty well off in a white, English-speaking, middle-class home. I didn't fall into the minority and was thus considered a part of the dominant majority at my school. I feel like the people at my school who were economically disadvantaged probably had a hard time being involved in extracurriculars. I was able to be involved in several sports and clubs because my parents had money to pay for them and I never had to work part-time to help support my family. Although I didn't explicitly state this before, there were several students at my high school who were English language learners. My high school didn't have very good programs to help these students and they were often thrown into regular classes where they couldn't understand much of what was going on. I never had to deal with this because I belonged to the dominant majority. I grew up with pretty decent cultural capital. Both of my parents are college graduates and spent plenty of time with me and thus taught me a lot of things that helped me to be more successful in school and demonstrate this cultural capital. The fact that I was also able to be very involved in extracurriculars was a demonstration of my cultural capital, because it showed that I had time and money to do things besides just work. I think that this involvement in things like track and field, cross country, and FCCLA helped me to find a place at my school, gain social capital, and be more successful in my coursework. One of the main ideologies that I like to follow that has affected my schooling is the idea that if I worked hard enough, I would be able to succeed. Although I didn't have very many roadblocks because I was part of the dominant majority culture, I still like to believe that if I did my best and studied hard, then I could get the grades that I wanted. This helped me in my schooling experience because I didn't give up even when I failed an assignment. Because I didn't have to deal with going to work to help out my family, not understanding the language being spoken in the classroom, or any other difficulties that a minority student might face, I was able to benefit from the ideology that hard work is what it takes, much more than these students would be able to. I recognized that there were probably some students at my school who could have worked just as hard as me, but not had the same results because they were dealing with so many other issues that had never and would never affect me. This class has taught me that people are different and that it's important to recognize these differences so that we can be more culturally aware. I have learned that as someone who is going to be an educator, and everyone for that matter, I should think about what I am going to say if it involves a culturally sensitive topic that may offend a student or anyone who may be nearby. In my future classroom, I will be sure to not speak negatively about a race or ethnic group or any other culture in our society. I hope that this will make all my students feel welcome and like they are a valued part of society. I will promote the idea that every student's opinions and values matter. I will also try to teach my students the importance of being culturally aware. I've already had some experience teaching kids that it's not okay to hate someone just because of their religion, sexual orientation, or race. This past summer, I worked at a Jewish summer camp in northeastern Pennsylvania. My co-counselor Janelle was Muslim and from Kazakhstan. One of my 10-year-old campers told me that she was afraid of her because she thought that she wouldn't be able to understand her because of her accent. My camper told me that she might think Janelle was saying something mean even though she was actually being nice just because she couldn't understand her. I was able to sit down with this camper and explain to her that I had a different accent too because I was from Utah and not Pennsylvania, and that I was a member of a different religion too. I then asked her if she was afraid of me, and she said no. I told her that just like she wasn't afraid of me, and she didn't need to be afraid of Janelle because we were both different from her, but we both cared about her. I hope to be able to take this philosophy into my future classroom and promote an environment that lets all people feel welcome. In my future classroom, I'll make sure that every student gets the same opportunities and chances,